Hello all and welcome to today's gallery opening. My name is Schilling and I'm the curator of this exhibit, and I'm excited to share with you today the work of Yayoi Kusama as well as lead an art talk with you all. Since today's artist prefers not to attend her own gallery openings, I will be standing in for her and I'll do the best that I can to take her place. In today's art talk, I would like to discuss her childhood and her art and career, and lastly but not least, her influence on pop culture. With that being said, let's begin today's art talk. According to Britannica's website, Kusama was born on March 22, 1929, in Matsumoto, Japan. She is the fourth child born into a wealthy family. However, her childhood was not the slightest bit pleasant. Her parents were the product of a loveless arranged marriage, and her father spent most of his time away from home engaging in multiple affairs. This left his angry wife to emotionally torment and physically abuse her youngest daughter. She even sent Kusama to spy on her father's multiple sexual exploits, leaving her with a permanent aversion to sex in the male body. When Kusama was 10, she began experiencing vivid hallucinations. She would experience flowers speaking to her and fabric coming to life and consuming her. She began drawing these hallucinations as a therapeutic outlet for these anxiety-inducing experiences. When Kusama was 13 years old, she was sent to work in a military factory in Japan, sewing parachutes for their World War II efforts. Her adolescence was spent in the darkness of the factory, listening to air raid sirens and warplanes flying overhead. This experience caused her to create many anti-war pieces, as well as value personal and creative freedom, and it also gave her the ability to sew, which would prove useful to her in her later life and career. Which brings us to our next topic. While a lot of her work stems from her childhood adversities, she did not begin her formal training as an artist until her late teen years. Rebelling against her mother's wishes for her to become an obedient housewife, Kusama studied briefly in Matsumoto and Kyoto. During this time in Japan, there was a movement against Western culture, so she was forced to study Nihonga, which is an ancient style of Japanese painting using over 1,000-year-old techniques and traditions. Even at a young age, her talent was apparent, and her work was shown in exhibitions all across Japan. However, the stifling Japanese culture and her abusive mother proved too much for her, and in 1957, Kusama moved to the United States. According to the Art Story website, some of her earliest pieces in New York City were what she called her infinity net paintings. These paintings consist of hundreds of marks repetitively created across large canvases. These paintings expose physical and psychological boundaries of painting, and they create an almost endless effect with the large canvases. And they also create a hypnotic effect for both the viewer and the artist. Kusama's work was part of the early minimalist movement, and she soon transitioned into pop art and performance art. She's also a leading avant-garde figure in the New York scene. In the 1960s, sexual anxiety was a major theme in many of her most famous pieces. In one piece she created is an armchair covered in hundreds of phallic objects. In another piece, her infinity mirror, Valley's Field, consists of hundreds of stuffed white objects covered in red polka dots in a mirrored installation piece. Some of her other work explored anti-war themes as well as free love ideas. In 1973, Kusama moved back to Japan, and in 1977, she chose to live in a mental institution. During that time, she still created work, but in 1989, she moved back into the international art world. And between 1989 and 1999, her work was shown at the Los Angeles County Art Museum, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, the Walker Art Center in Minneapolis, and the Tokyo Center for Contemporary Art. Even in her later career, Kusama is still gaining momentum, which brings us to our next topic, Kusama's influence on pop culture. According to an artsy article, Kusama was named one of the top 20 most influential artists of 2017. Her bridging of pop art and minimalism has made her one of the most influential artists in auctions today. And Instagram has provided a platform for a younger generation of art viewers. There are over 500,000 posts on Instagram interacting with her glittering mirrored installations, her polka dotted pumpkins, and her large abstract paintings. 2017 also saw the publishing of a children's book on Kusama's life for even younger art lovers. Kusama began 2017 with record-breaking attendance numbers at Hirshhorn's Art and Sculpture Garden in Washington, D.C. Another major retrospective gallery, Life is the Heart of the Rainbow, is being shown in Queensland, Australia. 2017 also saw the opening of a 5-story museum in Tokyo dedicated entirely to the artist's life and career. She's ending 2017 with 2 exhibitions in New York City, one at Judd's Contemporary Art Center and another at 2 of David Zwirner's galleries in Manhattan. These galleries hold her infinity net paintings as well as her infinity mirror installations, bringing her career to a full circle. Since polka dots have been a theme throughout Kusama's life and career, I would like to end with this quote. Our Earth is only one polka dot among a million stars in the cosmos. Polka dots are a way to infinity. That concludes my portion of today's art talk. Today we learned about Kusama's childhood, her art and career, and lastly, her influence on pop culture. Thank you all for coming today. I hope you all learned a little bit something about today's artist, as well as you feel a little bit closer to the art itself. The floor is now open for questions and discussion. Thank you all for your time.